Beloved chosen one, pause for a moment. Heaven has arranged this exact instant for you to hear what your soul has been longing for. You have walked through fire and still chosen tenderness. You have been betrayed, ignored, misunderstood, and yet your heart has remained soft. That, dear one, is not weakness. It is proof of divine strength. Heaven treasures the softness that survives the storm. You have shown mercy when others showed mockery. You have prayed for those who hurt you, even when your own heart was breaking. You have loved when love was not returned. Every act of compassion you've given, every small kindness you thought went unseen, has been written in heaven's book. Angels have witnessed it all. You are not invisible to God. You are the heartbeat of His compassion in human form. Your kindness has shifted realities. When you comforted a soul in silence, you interrupted the plans of darkness. When you smiled at a stranger on a day when you yourself felt empty, heaven saw a warrior in disguise. You are not just kind, you are chosen to carry God's gentleness into a world that has forgotten how to care. Listen closely, it is no accident that your heart feels deeply. God entrusted you with sensitivity because He needed someone who would reflect His love without fear. You are the proof that light still exists in this weary world. The very pain you feel at the suffering of others is evidence of your divine design. Chosen one, the world may take advantage of your goodness, but heaven honors it. Your reward is not in the hands of those who hurt you. Your reward is waiting in the hands of the one who called you. You are a vessel of healing. Your voice, your smile, your presence carry the fragrance of peace. Do not let bitterness steal your beauty. The enemy tries to convince you that kindness is pointless, but heaven laughs at that lie. The truth is this: every seed of mercy you plant will bloom in divine timing. The kindness you show now will echo through generations. Do not let bitterness steal your beauty. The enemy tries to convince you that kindness is pointless, but heaven laughs at that lie. The truth is this: every seed of mercy you plant will bloom in divine timing. The kindness you show now will echo through generations. There will come a time when everything you gave in silence will speak loudly in your favor. The doors that stayed shut will open effortlessly because heaven rewards hearts that stay pure. What you have planted in tears, you will harvest in radiant joy, overflowing and divine. Even when shadows try to silence your light, keep shining anyway. Your compassion is not wasted. It is transforming souls you may never meet. God delights in your endurance, and He is turning your quiet sacrifices into blessings beyond imagination. Heaven never forgets the kind-hearted. As the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, heaven's voice still comforts your heart today. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. You see, your kindness aligns you with that divine plan. You are not wandering, you are walking the path of purpose. Every gentle act you perform builds a bridge between heaven and earth. Even when you feel unseen, you are fulfilling prophecy. You are proof that God still moves through human hearts. There are moments when you wonder if your efforts matter, when the world feels heavy and your giving feels unnoticed. But heaven counts differently. Every quiet prayer, every selfless deed, every moment you choose love over resentment weighs more in eternity than the applause of men ever could. Your kindness releases ripples into the unseen. Somewhere, someone breathes easier because of your presence. A heart once closed begins to open again because you showed mercy when judgment was expected. You have become the living sermon that words could never preach. You embody divine grace in motion. Even when exhaustion whispers, "You've done enough," heaven gently replies, "Not yet. You were designed for endurance, not burnout. Your heart is being refilled even as you pour out. God Himself renews your compassion daily, so that what once felt like emptiness becomes overflowing rivers of peace again." Chosen one, don't underestimate what happens when you simply care. The smallest act of love, holding a door, sending a kind word, offering forgiveness, creates tremors in eternity. You are God's secret weapon against despair, His reminder to a hurting world that light still reigns. Never apologize for your softness, it is sacred. So lift your head, chosen one. Your light has not gone dim, it is growing stronger. The fire of compassion within you is holy. Keep giving, keep shining, keep loving. The world needs your heart exactly as it is, uncompromisingly kind, fiercely gentle, unshakably pure. If this message has stirred something deep within your spirit, let heaven see your agreement. Like this message, share it with another soul who carries light, and subscribe to remain connected to this divine flow of truth. And in the comments, type 777, a prophetic sign that you choose to keep your heart pure and radiant in a world that has forgotten love. Chosen one, you carry something rare in this world, a heart that feels deeply and still dares to love. The weight of such a heart is not light. You have carried burdens that were never yours, wept for people who never thanked you, and prayed for those who hurt you. The world rarely understands souls like yours, but heaven does. God knows the ache of a kind heart, and He treasures it more than all the riches of earth. There are nights when you lie awake, replaying moments you wish had ended differently, times when your goodness was mistaken for weakness, when your help was ignored, when your compassion was met with cruelty. You wonder why you care so much when others seem so careless. Yet this is exactly what sets you apart. You love even when it hurts. You forgive even when you could walk away. You try again, even when everything inside you whispers, "Give up." Beloved, that is not weakness, it is divine strength in disguise. Your empathy is heaven's fingerprint upon your soul. You were not designed to blend into a cold and hardened world. You were born to melt the ice in others through the warmth of your spirit. The pain you feel from caring too much is sacred proof that you were sent here for something greater. There is a cost to kindness. It often isolates you because not everyone can carry what you carry. Your love stretches beyond logic. Your mercy confuses those who live by pride. But do not let their misunderstanding make you question your purpose. You are not called to be understood, you are called to be light. Every tear you've cried over someone else's pain has been noticed by heaven. The angels have collected your tears, not as symbols of sorrow, but as evidence of faithfulness. You have chosen love again and again in a loveless world, and that choice echoes through eternity. Sometimes you wonder, why do I feel everything so deeply? Why can't I just stop caring? The answer is simple, because God's heart beats within yours. When you grieve, it is His compassion moving through you. When you forgive, it is His mercy flowing from your soul. When you stay kind even after being wounded, it is His Spirit proving that love never fails. The world celebrates power, but heaven celebrates tenderness. The strongest people are not those who dominate others, they are the ones who continue to love after being broken. You, chosen one, are one of those warriors of gentleness. When others choose revenge, you choose prayer. When others harden, you remain soft. That softness is your crown. Do not trade it for the armor of bitterness. For bitterness is heavy and joyless, but your kindness is light that guides even your enemies toward redemption. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, words that speak directly to the endurance of the kind-hearted. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. You are not abandoned in your weariness. God draws nearer to you precisely because of your compassion. When your heart breaks, His hand reaches to mend it. When you feel unseen, He surrounds you. Your tears are prayers that need no words. The world will tell you to toughen up, but heaven whispers, stay soft. For softness is not weakness, it is strength refined by grace. Every time you choose compassion over indifference, heaven expands its reach through you. You are a vessel through which God pours His love into the earth. When the weight feels unbearable, remember that you are not carrying it alone. Heaven carries it with you. The one who designed your heart knows exactly how to sustain it. You were not meant to be emptied, you were meant to overflow. Your gentleness is not for nothing. It is teaching others what divine love looks like in human form. You may never see the full impact of your kindness in this life, but eternity will reveal how many souls were touched because you refused to grow cold. Let this truth sink deep. Your kindness is not just an act, it is a calling. You are not weak for feeling, you are chosen for feeling. The Lord Himself entrusted you with a heart that mirrors His own, and through you, the world catches glimpses of heaven. Keep walking in love, even when love costs you. Keep giving grace, even when it's not returned. You are not losing, you are sowing eternal seeds. And when the time is right, God will cause your harvest of peace to overflow in ways you never imagined. Your kindness is divine proof that goodness still breathes in this world. It is heaven's reminder that light cannot be extinguished by cruelty. So carry it proudly. Chosen one. Even when it hurts, for the Lord Himself walks beside the tender-hearted, guarding their steps and healing their wounds with every sunrise. Chosen one. You've often carried a kind heart in a world that does not always return the same energy. There are days you feel drained when your compassion feels like both a gift and a burden. You pour yourself into others, and sometimes, when you're left empty, you wonder if it was worth it. But hear me now, heaven has been watching. Every act of love, every quiet gesture, every moment you gave when no one gave back has been seen by God Himself. Nothing you've done in love has been wasted. You are not merely kind. You are chosen to reveal the nature of divine kindness to a hurting world. That is why your path is heavier. Your soul doesn't just observe pain, it absorbs it, transforms it, and releases peace in its place. And though it costs you much, heaven repays what the world overlooks. When your compassion feels like too much, when you start to wish you could stop caring. Remember this, your sensitivity is not your flaw, it's your mission. You were chosen because you can feel what others suppress, because your heart beats in rhythm with God's. You sense pain not to drown in it, but to redeem it through mercy. Every time you choose patience over anger, you perform an act of spiritual warfare. Every time you bless someone who doesn't deserve it, you defeat darkness without speaking a word. That is why the enemy tries to harden your heart, because your softness terrifies him. You are a walking contradiction to the world's coldness, a living reflection of divine grace. Beloved, you are not foolish for loving deeply. Love is not naive, it is revolutionary. It confronts hate without imitating it. It endures rejection without retaliation. The gentle are not weak. They are the foundation stones of heaven's kingdom on earth. When others lose faith in people, you still believe in goodness. That is divine resilience. Sometimes your kindness feels like it's being used. But do not mistake testing for failure. The Lord allows your compassion to be stretched so it can grow. You are being trained to love with wisdom, to discern without closing your heart. For your kindness is not blind, it is guided by the Spirit. You've noticed that your presence changes the atmosphere. Where you go, heaviness lifts. People who were tense begin to soften. That's not coincidence, it's your anointing at work. You are heaven's antidote to despair. The kindness you radiate is like oil poured on weary souls, restoring what cruelty tried to destroy. As the ancient writings in Proverbs remind us of the quiet power of good hearts. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs at chapter 11, verse 25, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Chosen one, even when you feel emptied, God promises restoration. You cannot outgive the giver. The more you pour out in love, the more heaven refills your cup. What drains you today will be the very reason you overflow tomorrow. You are walking proof that purity still has power. Your compassion is not accidental, it's prophetic. When you listen, comfort, or forgive, you are participating in the renewal of creation itself. Heaven moves through you as quietly as a sunrise, changing everything it touches. So when you feel unseen, remind yourself you are not alone in your giving. God Himself gives through you. Every word of encouragement you've spoken has been recorded. Every moment you've carried someone else's pain has been counted. And soon, the same compassion you've sown will return to you in divine measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You were not chosen because you were the strongest, but because you were willing to love. And in a world that glorifies power, God is glorified through the tenderness of your soul. Your kindness is a sermon without words, a song without melody. Yet heaven sings along every time your heart beats in mercy. Now pause for a moment. Chosen one, feel heaven smiling upon you. You are seen. You are loved. You are making a difference beyond what you can comprehend. Before you leave this moment, type these words below: I will love. Write it not as routine, but as a declaration. Say it as a covenant with heaven that no matter what the world throws at you, no matter who misunderstands your softness, you will not let your heart turn to stone. When you type those words, you are affirming your identity as one who carries the light of divine compassion into every dark place. For every time you loved in silence, heaven shouted your name in honor. Every time you forgave when it hurt, the angels recorded it as victory. Your kindness is your legacy, your weapon, your crown. Never forget the world may not always reward kindness, but heaven always does, and when God rewards, He does so abundantly. So breathe, beloved. Let your heart rest in this truth: your compassion has purpose. Your love is divine strategy. And you, God's chosen one, are reshaping the world through something as simple and as powerful as your kindness. Chosen one. There are moments when your own kindness feels like a heavy cloak, something too large to carry, too costly to keep wearing. You give and the world takes. You love and the world misunderstands. There are times you sit in silence, wondering why your heart refuses to grow cold when coldness would make life easier. But listen, that tension is holy. It means your spirit is still alive, still connected to the breath of heaven. You see, your kindness is not weakness, it is your assignment. God did not choose you to fit comfortably into this world. He chose you to transform it through gentleness. That is why your journey feels lonely at times. The kind-hearted often walk through valleys others avoid, not because they are lost, but because they are carrying light into places where others fear to go. The burden of a kind heart is invisible to many. People see your smile, but not the battles behind it. They see your giving, but not the prayers that hold it together. They admire your peace, but don't see the warfare it costs. You've learned to stay calm while chaos circles you, to hold love in your hands even when it trembles. And though no one claps for those quiet victories, heaven celebrates them every day. There is a sacred paradox inside you. Strength hidden in softness, courage wrapped in compassion. You are proof that power does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers. You are proof that miracles still happen when one person chooses mercy over malice. When others choose pride, you choose humility. When others turn bitter, you choose to heal. Every time you resist the urge to harden, you preserve your crown. Heaven recognizes that discipline. The enemy may tempt you with anger, resentment, or apathy, but the spirit inside you wins every time you answer with love. You were not meant to be ordinary. The world measures greatness by control and dominance, but heaven measures it by love. The soft-hearted are heaven's greatest warriors, because their weapons are invisible patience, forgiveness, compassion. You are among them. Chosen one, do not despise your tears, though they water the seeds of goodness that others will harvest. Every time you cry over injustice or pain, you are interceding in ways you cannot yet see. You are partnering with God's heart, standing in the gap where mercy is needed most. Your kindness has shifted realities. You have changed lives simply by being who you are. Even when exhaustion whispers that you have nothing left to give, grace arrives quietly to refill you. God never intended your compassion to destroy you. It is not a curse but a calling, and within that calling is constant replenishment. Heaven refills what love pours out. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians. Chapter 6 and verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. This promise is written for you, chosen one. Every act of kindness you've sown, even the smallest, carries eternal value. Though you may not see the harvest yet, it is already forming beneath the soil of time. Your perseverance in love will not return void. The weight of your kindness is the weight of divine purpose. You carry the fragrance of heaven in a world that often reeks of cynicism. That's why you feel different you are. You were designed to be light, and light never apologizes for shining. Do not wish to feel less. Instead, ask God to teach you how to carry what you feel. He never asks you to harden, only to lean on Him for strength. Even the gentlest hearts are mighty when sustained by divine power. Remember this truth: kindness is not only what you give, it is who you are. It's written in your spirit, coded into your soul. Long before the world knew your name, heaven called you compassion. You were sent here to remind others of the goodness of God through the way you love. So when weariness comes, when people misunderstand your motives or take advantage of your grace, don't lose heart. Let their actions reveal their nature, but let your response reveal heaven's. You represent something higher. You live for something eternal. You are heaven's gentle revolution, the living proof that mercy still reigns. Every kind word you speak weakens the grip of darkness. Every patient act plants a seed that heaven waters. Even in silence, your spirit preaches the gospel of love. You may never know the full reach of your kindness in this lifetime, but eternity will show you the faces of those you unknowingly healed, the souls who found faith again because of your compassion. That is the legacy of the kind-hearted. And so, chosen one, lift your head. Your heart is heavy not because it is broken, but because it carries glory. The world may never understand it, but heaven rejoices over it. Keep walking gently, for the path of mercy is the path of greatness. Chosen one, you were never called to mirror the world. You were created to mirror heaven. Your kindness is not an accident, it is evidence of divine craftsmanship. You carry something rare, a light that cannot be dimmed, even when life tries to bury it under disappointment. Your compassion is a flame that refuses to go out. And though winds have blown against you, you still burn with mercy. There is something sacred about a heart like yours. It gives, even when empty. It loves, even when unloved. It listens, even when misunderstood. Like a river that keeps flowing after the storm. Your goodness keeps finding a way. You are that river, quiet, persistent, life-giving. And wherever you go, dry places begin to bloom again. The world needs more souls like yours. Chosen one. People are thirsty for tenderness, starving for sincerity. When you show kindness, you become the hands of God extended. When you forgive, you become His whisper of peace to a noisy world. Never underestimate how your gentle presence can calm another person's storm. Still, I know the ache behind your kindness. There are moments when your giving feels unseen, when it seems no one notices the sacrifices you make. You've poured yourself into others, and sometimes it feels like your cup has nothing left. But listen closely, heaven has seen it all. God is the keeper of the unseen good, and He never forgets the fragrance of a generous soul. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, these words remain alive for the kind-hearted. As Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." Chosen one, your giving has not gone unnoticed. Every time you have loved without return, heaven has stored that love as seed. Every unseen act of grace will one day bloom in radiant beauty. God will return to you what you've given multiplied, refined, eternal. Think of your kindness like sunlight filtering through clouds. It touches faces you'll never see, yet it still warms them. Your generosity is like the scent of a rose carried by the wind. You may not know where it travels, but heaven knows every soul it comforts. And when you bless others, that fragrance circles back to you in unexpected ways. So keep being that light, that fragrance, that river. Keep doing good, not for recognition, but because it is who you are. You are heaven's artist, painting hope on broken walls with the colors of love and patience. The world may not always clap, but heaven never stops applauding. And beloved, if this message resonates within your spirit, if you feel that gentle tug of confirmation in your heart, don't let it pass quietly. When you like this message, you are helping light reach another weary soul who might be one click away from giving up. When you share it, you become a messenger of grace, carrying comfort into someone else's darkness. When you subscribe, you are joining a movement of light bearers, people who refuse to let their faith grow cold. It's not just a button, it's a statement: I will keep shining. And if you feel led, if your heart stirs with gratitude or conviction, consider sowing into this flow of words through giving. Think of it not as payment, but as planting a seed in fertile soil. Each offering, no matter the size, becomes oil that keeps this light burning brighter. Just as rivers need rainfall to keep flowing, messages like this need hearts that believe in their purpose. But understand this clearly: this is never about obligation. It is about partnership. You are not giving to me, you are giving through me, to countless souls who need to hear that God still sees their goodness. You become part of heaven's network of mercy. You extend the same compassion you've been shown. There is beauty in that exchange. Chosen one. Just as trees share shade they'll never sit beneath, you too can bless lives you may never meet. That is how divine kindness multiplies. It doesn't stay still. It moves, grows, and covers the earth. So let your giving, your sharing, your subscribing be like rain watering unseen seeds. Trust that heaven takes every drop and turns it into rivers of hope. What you send forward today will meet someone tomorrow right where they need healing. You are a vessel of divine generosity. You don't just speak love, you live it. You don't just hope for change, you become it. And even as you pour out, remember that God's promise remains, your cup will overflow again. Keep shining, beloved. Keep giving from that holy place within you. The world may never fully grasp the cost of your compassion, but heaven does, and heaven is proud. Chosen one, there is a sacred tension inside you, the constant pull between your soft heart and a world that rewards hardness. You live in a time where compassion is mistaken for weakness, and mercy is often mocked. Yet still, you choose kindness. Still, you choose to see light where others see only shadows. That choice makes you rare, but it also makes you misunderstood. You have felt the sting of rejection because of your goodness. You've been told you care too much, love too easily, trust too soon. People have taken your kindness for granted, mistaking your gentleness for naivety. But hear this truth clearly: God never called you to harden. He called you to stand firm in love. You were never meant to match the darkness, you were meant to outshine it. The battle between softness and survival has always been your hidden war. There are days when you wake up weary, thinking, maybe I should stop caring so much. But the moment you try, your heart aches, because you are wired for compassion. Your spirit cannot function in bitterness. God built you to heal, not to harm, to mend, not to mock, to lift, not to tear down. Beloved, this constant conflict is proof of your divine design. The world demands armor, heaven asks for openness. And though your tenderness feels risky, it is actually your greatest weapon. The enemy cannot comprehend how your love still stands after so much betrayal. It confuses him. It weakens him. Every act of mercy you show becomes a declaration that the darkness did not win. You are a living paradox, both gentle and strong, both patient and fierce. Your softness does not make you fragile. It makes you dangerous to evil. The enemy thrives on hatred, but your compassion starves him. Your kindness is holy rebellion, an uprising of grace in a cynical world. So yes, you have cried. Yes, your love has been bruised. But remember, even the most tender rose has thorns, not to harm, but to protect what's precious. Your boundaries are holy. Your heart is sacred ground. Do not apologize for protecting your peace while staying kind. That balance is wisdom, not weakness. Heaven records every time you chose love over revenge, every time you swallowed pride instead of words that could have wounded. The archives of eternity are filled with the echoes of your mercy. You may think your silence in anger was wasted, but heaven calls it victory. You may think your tears were ignored, but they were turned into prayers. Listen now. Chosen one, the world needs your light more than ever. People have grown numb to kindness, but your presence reminds them of God's touch. Every time you walk into a room with peace in your spirit, you shift the atmosphere. When you speak gently, you disarm tension. When you forgive, you teach heaven's language to earth. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, a reminder to those who remain faithful in heart. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 31. Verse 6, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. That promise is for you. Beloved, God does not abandon gentle souls. He walks beside them, covering them with unseen strength. Your tenderness may seem fragile, but it is backed by divine might. You are never fighting alone. So, when life feels like a battlefield, stand your ground in kindness. Refuse to let cruelty change your nature. Let your gentleness be your sword and your peace be your shield. Remember, even Jesus wept, yet his tears carried power. Yours do too. You are not weak for caring. You are a warrior trained in love. When others turn away, you remain. When others give up, you pray again. That is the mark of someone who carries heaven inside them. The soft-hearted are the true defenders of light because they keep loving in a loveless age. And now, chosen one. If this message has resonated with your soul, if you feel the Holy Spirit stirring within you, reminding you that your kindness still matters, declare it openly. Type the number 555 below. Do not type it as a habit, type it as a prophetic act. Let it be your way of saying, I will not let this world harden me. I will stand in love, even when love costs me. The number 555 is heaven's symbol of divine change, a sign that God is renewing your strength and transforming your compassion into unshakable courage. When you write it, you're not just commenting, you're aligning your spirit with divine purpose. You're saying, God, keep my heart soft but strong. Keep me kind but wise. Keep me loving but protected. Because this is your calling to love fiercely in a world that has forgotten how. And one day, when heaven's books are opened, your story will be written in gold, not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful to love until the end. Keep walking gently, chosen one. Heaven stands behind your every step. Chosen one. Heaven has been keeping record of things you thought were forgotten. Every act of compassion, every prayer whispered for someone else, every moment you stayed kind when you could have chosen otherwise, none of it has disappeared into silence. It has been written in heaven's books, etched in light. God is not unjust to forget your labor of love. You have walked through seasons where gratitude was scarce. You gave freely and received only silence. You stood beside people in their storm, only to find no one standing beside you in yours. Those moments carved deep lines in your soul, places that ache when you think about how much you gave and how little was returned. But listen, heaven saw it all. The angels witnessed your unseen sacrifices. They watched when you stayed awake to pray for another soul's breakthrough. They stood beside you when your kindness was met with coldness, when you smiled through tears, when you forgave quietly without recognition. The world might forget, but the kingdom keeps perfect memory. There is a law in the spirit, nothing born of love is ever lost. Every act of mercy you've given continues to ripple through time. Like a stone dropped in water, its impact spreads far beyond the moment. Your kindness travels through generations, touching hearts you will never meet. Somewhere, right now, someone is alive, comforted, or hopeful because of something you once did in silence. Chosen one. Heaven's record is not like the world's ledger. The world measures success by results, but heaven measures by obedience. You may feel like you've poured yourself out for nothing, but in truth, you've been storing treasure in eternity. Each compassionate gesture is a deposit into heaven's account under your name. You were never meant to see the full outcome of your kindness here on earth. God hides certain results from you so that your love remains pure, given freely, without the corruption of reward. You are learning the art of divine giving, to sow without needing to reap immediately. This is the maturity of the chosen. There are unseen records in heaven's archives, moments you've forgotten, but heaven celebrates. The time you forgave someone who never apologized. The moment you encouraged a stranger even while your own heart was heavy. The prayer you prayed for someone who would never know it came from you. These things echo in eternity. The prophet wrote it plainly long ago, reminding those who labor in love that heaven's eyes never close, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. Do you see, beloved? Even your goodness has an appointed time for harvest. What you sowed in hidden seasons will bloom in due time. Though recognition tarries, reward is certain. Heaven's promises are never late, they are perfectly timed. When you wonder whether your kindness made a difference, remember that heaven operates in layers beyond your sight. Some blessings unfold slowly so that your humility can hold them. Others are reserved for eternity, where glory never fades. You may not see the fruit yet, but you are standing in divine timing. Do not let weariness rewrite your story. The seeds you've sown in tears are already germinating under the soil of divine promise. In quiet places, your kindness has stirred angels into motion. Miracles are being written in your name because of the mercy you've shown to others. You have built altars of love, and heaven honors every one of them. Chosen one. Even when you feel forgotten, remember that you are written into the fabric of God's plan. Your compassion has become part of the world's healing. When the Father looks upon the earth, your heart shines among the brightest lights. Sometimes the harvest looks different than you expected. The person you helped might never say thank you, but their transformation becomes your legacy. The child who saw your patience learns to show patience to others. The friend who watched you forgive finds courage to forgive themselves. You may never trace all these ripples, but heaven does. You are not wasting your goodness, you are multiplying it. You are not overlooked, you are being recorded. Every act of love is stored as eternal evidence that light still reigns. So breathe, beloved. Let peace settle into your soul. You are not running out of kindness. You are only learning to give from deeper wells. God refills what love pours out. And when the appointed time arrives, every hidden act will rise into sight, gleaming like gold refined by fire. You are seen, you are remembered, and your kindness, though sometimes forgotten by men, remains immortal in the heart of God. Chosen one, few realize the true depth of kindness. It is not a gesture, it is warfare in disguise. Every time you choose to be kind when you have every reason to retaliate, you are fighting battles in the unseen. Every time you bless instead of curse, forgive instead of resent, you are striking blows against darkness itself. The enemy does not fear noise, he fears gentleness. Because true kindness is heaven's most silent weapon. The world measures victory in dominance, but heaven measures it in mercy. Kindness is not passivity, it is authority under control. You could speak sharply, yet you choose silence. You could expose, yet you cover. You could withdraw, yet you still serve. That, beloved, is spiritual warfare wrapped in grace. Darkness cannot comprehend compassion. Hatred feeds on reaction, but your calm starves it. When you respond with gentleness, you dismantle the enemy's plans without ever lifting a physical sword. Heaven recognizes your restraint as strength, your mercy as might. You are a peacemaker, and peacemakers carry heaven's badge of honor. There have been moments when you thought your kindness didn't matter, when people took advantage of your heart, or when your gentleness seemed to change nothing. Yet in those exact moments, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifted. Angels were dispatched, curses were broken, hearts were softened. Every time you resisted bitterness, you declared war on the spirit of hatred. The world doesn't celebrate such battles, but heaven does. God sees when you hold your peace instead of proving your point. He sees when you forgive in private while others gossip in public. He sees when you keep loving people who have already turned away. These are not small victories. These are triumphs that shake the kingdom of darkness. There are people alive today who survived their hardest nights because of a single word you spoke. You may never realize the power that your gentleness carried, but heaven does. You were not merely comforting someone, you were intercepting despair. You were standing between a broken heart and destruction. You are heaven's intercessor clothed in human form. You were never meant to fight like the world fights. Your weapons are not made of anger, manipulation, or revenge. Your weapons are invisible kindness, patience, and truth. When you walk in compassion, you carry heaven's own light into places thick with despair. The enemy hates that light because it exposes him without a word. Your tenderness carries authority. You don't have to shout to shift a room. Your presence does it. The peace within you is contagious. It settles storms in others before they realize it. That's why people often find comfort in your silence. The Spirit of God flows through you like still water, cleansing and calming everything it touches. This is why your battles are so intense. The enemy does not waste energy on those who pose no threat. But your heart, your loving, steadfast heart, is a threat. Every kind act is a declaration that heaven still reigns. Every merciful choice announces that grace is greater than bitterness. Do not underestimate your impact. Chosen one, you are not losing by being kind, you are conquering quietly. Heaven does not measure strength by resistance, but by endurance. The fact that you keep loving, even after heartbreak, means you are winning wars most people can't even see. The ancient words recorded in Romans still echo today as a secret to spiritual victory. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 12, verse 21. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. This is your divine strategy. You don't need to fight evil with its own weapons. Your goodness is the victory. Your mercy is the battlefield's anthem. When you bless those who curse you, you dismantle entire networks of hate. Heaven records it as triumph every single time. Sometimes the reward of such warfare is peace that others can't explain. You've seen this peace when you walk away from conflict. Not bitter, but free. That's the evidence of divine strength. You didn't win by overpowering anyone. You won by not becoming what wounded you. That is the victory of the righteous. Chosen one. This is why God trusts you with influence. He can place you among chaos, knowing that you will not absorb it, you will transform it. You are a carrier of calm, a temple of tenderness in a world filled with storms. Your kindness builds bridges where walls once stood, and heaven uses you as a vessel of reconciliation. There will always be those who mistake your gentleness for weakness. Let them. The lion does not explain its strength to the sheep. You know who you are both lamb and lion, soft enough to comfort, strong enough to stand. That is the reflection of Christ within you. And when you feel weary, remember this: even the smallest act of kindness tips the scale of eternity. A word, a glance, a smile, a prayer, each one carries the fragrance of heaven. What feels ordinary to you is divine strategy in disguise. So keep walking in quiet authority. Chosen one. Your kindness is not fragile, it is forged in holy fire. You are not losing the battle, you are defining how heaven wins it. The world may not understand, but heaven applauds every time you choose light over bitterness, forgiveness over vengeance, compassion over indifference. Your warfare is love, and you are winning. Chosen one, there is something sacred that follows you wherever you go. It isn't loud or flashy, but it is unmistakably powerful. When you walk into a space, hearts begin to soften, and tension begins to fade. You may not notice it, but heaven does. You carry healing in your very presence. It's not only what you say, but what your spirit releases. The peace within you becomes medicine for weary souls. Sometimes you wonder why people open up to you so easily, why strangers trust you with their pain, why others come to you when they're lost. It's because your presence feels safe. It feels like home. That is no accident. It's a divine assignment. Your compassion heals in ways you can't measure. A kind word spoken by you can silence someone's storm. A single moment of your understanding can rescue a soul from despair. You are not just nice, you are anointed to bring comfort. When others speak judgment, your voice carries grace. When others spread fear, your words carry peace. The reason your empathy runs so deep is because you've known pain intimately. You've walked through nights that almost broke you, and yet you chose not to let bitterness grow. That decision was not wasted. Every wound you endured became a channel through which healing now flows. You minister from scars, not from theory. You might not wear a title or stand behind a pulpit, but you preach with your life. Every act of kindness is a sermon. Every moment of patience is a testimony. You bring heaven to earth simply by being who you are, a living message of mercy. There are those who don't understand your quiet strength. They mistake your humility for passivity. But you know better. It takes far more strength to stay kind in a cruel world than it does to become hardened. What the world sees as softness, heaven calls sacred armor. There have been days when your own heart needed healing, when you poured into others while you were running on empty. Yet somehow, God refilled you just enough to keep giving. That's because you are connected to an endless source. The love you share doesn't come from you, it flows through you. And when you forget that, God gently reminds you by sending someone to comfort you. The way you've comforted so many, you are heaven's reminder that love still works. Your very existence whispers, grace is still alive. That's why the enemy has tried to discourage you. He knows that if you ever fully believed in your impact, the world around you would never be the same again. The apostle reminds us of this spiritual exchange in his letter to the Corinthians. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 1, verse 4, who comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Do you see the healing you release into others is the same healing that once saved you? Your kindness is not random, it is redemption in motion. You are God's vessel of comfort, molded by your own brokenness, refined by compassion. There are people whose hearts will only open because of your presence. There are lives that will only find hope again because of your gentleness. You don't need to fix everyone, you only need to shine the peace that lives within you. Heaven does the rest. Chosen one, there is power in the simplicity of your care. You heal through listening, through patience, through the way you show up even when words fail. That's why your presence matters more than you think. You are not invisible. You are indispensable to heaven's design. And now, pause for a sacred moment. Let these words settle into your heart. Let every doubt and every question melt in the light of this truth. You are healing hearts just by existing. Now, if this message touches something deep inside you, if you feel the gentle confirmation that God still uses your compassion to mend the broken, declare it below. Type these words, I bring peace. Type it not as a slogan, but as a revelation. When you write those 3 words, you are declaring who you are in the kingdom. You are affirming that your kindness is not coincidence, it is calling. You are acknowledging that your words, your actions, and even your silence carry divine purpose. When you say, I bring peace. You are agreeing with heaven's view of you. You are telling God, use me again. You are saying, let my life continue to be a resting place for hurting souls. It is your spiritual signature, an act of surrender and authority all at once. So speak it boldly and let heaven echo your declaration. Because, chosen one, you do bring peace wherever you go, whoever you meet. Your heart is medicine, your love is armor, and your presence is proof that light still wins. Chosen one, the road you walk is sacred, though few recognize it. You move quietly through this world, leaving traces of light behind you like footprints on sand just before the tide. People may not see the impact immediately, but heaven watches every step. And there is a day coming when all the ripples you've caused through your kindness will return to you as waves of blessing. Every seed of love you have planted has been received. Every moment you gave comfort. Every time you chose patience. Every silent prayer for someone who never even knew your name, all of it has been written in eternal ink. The world may forget, but heaven records in detail. You are living proof that goodness still lives among us. Sometimes you look at your hands and wonder, does it matter? It does. These are the hands that have lifted others when they fell. The hands that have wiped tears not your own. These hands carry heaven's fingerprints, and they build, heal, restore, and bless. Do not underestimate the quiet power within you. You are doing more than helping others. You are shaping eternity with your compassion. There's a beautiful mystery about kindness. It multiplies, like the wind that carries seeds across fields. Your love travels farther than your eyes can see. Somewhere, someone's heart blooms because of a word you spoke long ago. Your kindness is eternal pollen. It spreads life into places you'll never visit. The prophet wrote it as a promise that guides the giver's heart. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 25. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessing will be on your food and water. I will take away sickness from among you. Do you understand what this means? Chosen one. Every act of love, every offering of service, every drop of kindness you pour out in faith, heaven blesses it. God does not allow generosity to return empty. When you give of yourself, he covers you with divine nourishment spiritually, emotionally, even physically. You have poured much into the world. You have carried others on your shoulders. You have spoken life into hearts that had forgotten how to beat with hope. And though you may sometimes feel drained, God has not forgotten to refill you. The same rivers that flow from you also flow to you in his timing. But remember, light, to shine brighter, must be refueled. Rivers flow because of rainfall. Even candles need wax to keep burning. So allow me to speak gently to your giving heart if these words have poured healing into you. Let your gratitude become part of the cycle of giving. When you like this message, it isn't just a click, it's like lighting a candle in the dark. It helps this message find another weary soul who needs warmth tonight. When you share, you are extending that light farther than you could walk yourself. Someone you may never meet will find strength because you cared enough to share it. When you subscribe, you are choosing to stay connected to the current of heaven's encouragement. A stream of reminders that your faith still matters. Your compassion still changes things. And your softness is still sacred. And for those who feel stirred deeper if your heart whispers, "This message feeds me," then consider sowing back into the soil it grew from. Think of it as watering the tree that shades you. A tree that isn't watered cannot keep offering fruit. A small act of support, a donation given with love, isn't about money. It's about partnership. It's you saying, "I believe in keeping this light alive." The beauty of generosity is that it doesn't just sustain a message, it multiplies its reach. You become a co-healer, a co-laborer, a part of heaven's broadcast of love. Your giving becomes wings for these words, carrying them to corners of the world that hunger for hope. Chosen one, your heart has already given so much. But when you choose to give intentionally, whether through time, encouragement, prayer, or support, you build bridges for others to walk across their pain. You become part of something divine and eternal. Your kindness has always been more than emotion. It's mission. When you partner with what feeds your spirit, you keep that mission alive for others. You ensure that more broken hearts find mending, more lost souls find their way home. So, beloved, let your giving, whatever form it takes, be like rain falling on thirsty ground. Heaven will multiply it back to you in peace, joy, and favor. You cannot outgive the God who called you. You have never once lost by being generous. Continue shining your light. Continue spreading love. Continue sustaining what sustains you. For every drop you pour out, God promises a flood of renewal in return. You are not just receiving this message, you are part of it. You are both the listener and the living example of heaven's kindness in motion. Keep walking in that grace, chosen one, and watch how heaven multiplies your every act of love. Chosen one, you have spent so much of your life giving. You have been the healer, the encourager, the quiet strength in the background. You've carried others through their storms while your own heart trembled beneath the weight. Yet somehow, through every season, your compassion has endured. It is a rare and precious thing to possess a heart that refuses to turn bitter no matter how many times it's been bruised. But even the kindest souls need renewal. There are moments when you feel emptied, when your tenderness feels thin, when your prayers feel like whispers into the wind. You give, and sometimes you forget that your own soul needs tending too. There is no shame in needing rest. The same God who called you to pour out has also called you to be refilled. You are not an endless well by your own strength. You are a vessel divinely designed to receive as much as you give. When the vessel runs dry, the Spirit gently calls you back into the quiet, to the place where your heart first learned how to love. It is there in that stillness where God restores what life has drained. Do not mistake exhaustion for failure. Even the sun must set to rise again. Rest does not mean you've stopped being kind. It means your roots are reaching deeper to drink from living water. Your soul, chosen one, is like a garden. Every flower of compassion needs time to absorb the light again. You cannot bloom endlessly without pausing to breathe. Heaven does not rush the gentle. God Himself works in rhythms ebb and flow, sowing and reaping, speaking and silence. You too are invited into that rhythm. When you rest, you are not being lazy. You are aligning yourself with the Creator's heartbeat. The same God who asked you to carry others now asks you to let Him carry you. The writings of David in the Psalms remind us of this sacred cycle of rest and renewal. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 23, verse 2, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. This verse is not a gentle suggestion, it's an instruction of love. God makes you lie down. He insists on your restoration. Sometimes He removes certain people or pauses certain plans not as punishment, but as protection. He knows when your soul is running low, even when you try to keep going out of duty or guilt. Beloved, the world glorifies constant motion, but heaven honors stillness. Your spirit grows stronger in the quiet than in the noise. It is in silence that you hear God's voice most clearly, reminding you who you are beyond what you do. You are not just a helper, not just a healer, you are His beloved child. There are seasons where your heart will feel like winter, barren and empty, but don't mistake that for death. Beneath the soil, new roots are forming. What feels like stillness is preparation. God hides you in quiet places before revealing your next bloom. Every rest is sacred incubation for greater growth. The kindness you show the world must also be shown to yourself. Speak gently to your own heart. Forgive yourself for the moments you couldn't give as much as you wished. Honor your limits. They are not signs of weakness, but reminders of your humanity. Even Jesus withdrew from the crowds to pray and rest, so why should you feel guilty for needing the same? You are not just a vessel of love for others, you are the beloved vessel of God. The same compassion you give outward must circle back inward. Let the voice that comforts others also comfort you. Tell yourself the truth you tell them, that grace is still enough, that mercy still covers you, that rest is holy. In this sacred pause, heaven works quietly on your behalf. The strength you thought was lost is being restored. The joy you thought had faded is being reignited. Your spirit is being refilled, not for survival, but for revival. When you rise again, and you will carry a deeper peace. Your kindness will flow with renewed clarity. You will give not from exhaustion, but from abundance. Your compassion will no longer drain you. It will delight you again. Chosen one. God is not impressed by how much you endure. He is moved by how much you trust. Let him restore you. Let him refill your soul until the wells overflow again. For only when you are whole can your light shine with its full radiance. So breathe deeply, beloved. You have permission to rest. Heaven is watching over you even in your stillness. The shepherd who led you through battle now leads you beside quiet waters. Drink deeply and rise gently when he calls. Chosen one, you are not ordinary. You are a mirror of God's own compassion. The way you care, the way you notice what others overlook, the way your heart aches for the broken. These are not random traits. They are signs of divine reflection. When heaven wanted to show humanity what love looks like in motion, it placed that love inside you. Your kindness is a language of heaven translated into human touch. You carry the melody of mercy wherever you go. People may not always understand it, but their spirits recognize it. That's why strangers open up to you. Why those who have been hardened begin to soften in your presence. It's not you they see, it's God shining through you. Beloved, the compassion inside you is proof that you were created in the image of divine love. You were born to reflect it, to amplify it, to remind others of its existence when the world forgets. The world will call it weakness, but heaven calls it witness. You are living evidence that love still wins. Every time you forgive instead of retaliate, you reveal the nature of the Father. Every time you comfort someone without seeking recognition, you mirror the Son. Every time you persist in kindness despite fatigue, you show the endurance of the Spirit. You are a trinity of grace in motion, one life. 3 reflections of love, compassion, mercy, and peace. The light you carry does not come from you, it flows through you. It is the echo of creation still resonating within your soul. When you love, you are joining heaven in its eternal song, the same song sung by angels. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Your kindness is a verse in that hymn. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, the command of divine reflection still stands strong today. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That is your calling, chosen one, to let your light shine, not for fame, not for approval, but so that others will see God through you. Your compassion is a form of worship, your patience, your gentleness, your empathy. All of these are holy offerings laid at the altar of daily life. But I know this truth also carries a cost. There are days you feel unseen, days when your reflection grows dim because of weariness. You wonder if being kind even matters anymore. You give, and sometimes it feels like the world gives nothing back. Hear me now, your reflection cannot fade. Even when your strength feels gone, light still glows beneath the ashes. The spirit within you does not flicker out, it simply waits for breath. And that breath comes from the one who first said, "Let there be light." He still whispers those same words over you. You were never meant to force your light, only to keep your heart open so God can flow through it. The reflection doesn't depend on effort, it depends on surrender. The moon does not struggle to shine, it simply stays in position, facing the sun. So too must you remain aligned with the source. Your brightness is sustained by your connection. When you stay kind, you are keeping your face toward heaven. When you forgive, you are refusing to block the light. When you show mercy, you are reflecting the very essence of God Himself. Chosen one, the world may distort what kindness looks like, but you know its truth. It is not grand gestures or loud announcements, it is quiet consistency. Grace under pressure, love without condition. It is choosing light when darkness would be easier. There will come a day when your reflection reaches farther than you can imagine. People you've never met will speak of you with gratitude, saying, "I don't know why, but that person made me believe in goodness again." That is legacy, the echo of divine love moving through generations. Now, if as you read this, something stirs deep within your spirit, if you feel heaven confirming that you are indeed a vessel of light, then mark this moment. Declare it openly, not as pride, but as prophecy. Type the number 444 below. Type it as an act of alignment. The number 4444 carries the vibration of divine stability and truth. It represents foundations built by heaven's hand. When you write it, you are saying, "God, build me into your reflection. Keep my heart pure. Let my light remain steady." Do not type it carelessly. Let it come from your soul. Because when you do, you are agreeing with heaven's plan over your life, that your kindness will not fade, that your compassion will not waver, and that your reflection of love will reach the ends of the earth. You were never meant to be hidden. Chosen one. You were meant to illuminate. You are not merely showing love, you are showing God. And through your gentle spirit, countless hearts will find their way home again. Chosen one. There comes a time in every tender soul's journey when protection becomes necessary, not from others, but for the preservation of your spirit. You have given much of yourself. You have poured rivers of love into dry hearts and built bridges where there were only walls. But every river, no matter how deep, must have boundaries to stay pure. Without them, even the clearest water becomes muddied. Guarding your heart does not mean closing it. It means tending to it with wisdom. You were never called to be endlessly available to everyone. You were called to be discerned by heaven. The same compassion that heals others must also protect itself. You are not a doormat for the ungrateful, you are a temple of the living God. The world will sometimes mistake your distance for coldness, but heaven calls it stewardship. You are learning when to pour out and when to preserve. You are learning that saying no can be an act of love just as much as saying yes. There is strength in discernment, a holy awareness that not every hand deserves access to your peace. You have spent years trying to see the good in everyone, and that is noble. But even Jesus did not entrust himself to all. He loved all, yet he revealed his heart only to those who carried understanding. You too must learn that difference. Your kindness is meant to be given freely, but your peace must be guarded carefully. Chosen one, you have faced moments where your open heart led to deep wounds. You've seen people take your mercy as weakness and your generosity as obligation. Yet even in those moments, you didn't become bitter. Instead, you learned to love with boundaries, to extend grace without losing yourself. That lesson is holy. Protecting your heart is not selfish, it is sacred maintenance of the vessel God uses. If your soul is constantly drained, how can you keep carrying light? If your peace is stolen daily, how can your words continue to heal? A guarded heart is not a closed heart, it is a heart wisely managed by divine guidance. As the word of the Lord reminds us in the book of Proverbs, the secret of spiritual preservation has been written clearly for the wise. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Everything flows from your heart, your love, your purpose, your clarity. That is why the enemy aims there first. He knows that if he can poison your peace, he can interrupt your flow. But heaven has given you discernment, not to make you suspicious, but to make you wise. You have the right to protect your joy from those who thrive on chaos. You have the right to preserve your energy for what is holy. The heart that stays pure does not entertain every voice, it listens for the one that sounds like peace. Sometime, protecting your spirit means walking away quietly, not because you stopped caring, but because you started healing. There is power in silence when it's led by wisdom. You are not obligated to remain where your light is dimmed. You are allowed to choose peace without guilt. Remember this: boundaries are not walls, they are gates. Gates can open and close. You decide when to let love in and when to rest. Even heaven has gates, and they are guarded not by fear but by holiness. If heaven guards its beauty, so must you. Your love is too precious to be wasted on those who refuse to value it. Yet your kindness is too divine to turn cruel in response. Balance is your calling, gentle but grounded, loving but led. You are learning what it means to carry love without losing yourself in it. You are learning that discernment is not distrust, but divine vision. It is seeing people clearly while still choosing to love them wisely. That is spiritual maturity, the strength to care deeply without being consumed. Do not let guilt deceive you into constant self-sacrifice. Even the holiest lamps must be refueled before they shine again. Rest is not retreat, it is reignition. When you step back, heaven refills your oil. Chosen one, you were never meant to be consumed by what you came to heal. You are the lighthouse, not the ship. Your role is to guide, not to sink with every vessel in the storm. Shine brightly, but remain anchored. The same love that flows through you must also protect you. The God who made your heart tender also made it strong. He gave you compassion as a sword and discernment as a shield. Use both with reverence. And when you feel the weight of your kindness pressing against your strength, remember it's not your job to save everyone, it's your calling to love wisely. The rest belongs to God. Guard your heart, chosen one, not out of fear, but out of faith, for what flows from you is too sacred to be wasted. The world still needs your compassion, but it also needs your wholeness. Protect both, and you will remain unstoppable in grace. Chosen one. The mark you leave upon the world is not carved in stone, but written in spirit. What you have done in love cannot be erased, for love belongs to eternity. Every act of mercy you have shown continues to travel beyond sight, through lives, through memories, through generations yet to come. Kindness never ends. It only changes form. There are days when you look back and wonder if any of it mattered. The words you spoke, the prayers you whispered, the compassion you offered in silence, did they really change anything? But heaven would show you if you could see beyond time. You would behold countless threads of light stretching outward from your life, touching souls you never met. You would see how one act of grace became a chain of healing that continues long after you moved on. The world counts legacy and monuments and titles, but heaven counts it in love. You are leaving a legacy that cannot crumble. Monuments can break, names can fade, but kindness is eternal. It seeps into the soil of human hearts, and one day, it grows into forests of faith. There are children who will grow up believing in goodness because someone like you showed their parents what gentleness looks like. There are friends who will find courage to forgive because they once saw you forgive when it was hardest. You have already become someone's answered prayer, someone's reminder that light still walks the earth. Heaven does not overlook that. Every seed of mercy you've planted has been gathered into God's storehouse of remembrance. You may not see the harvest, but heaven does. The harvest of kindness is slow, but it is sure. Heaven delights in timing that cannot be rushed. What you began in tears will rise in laughter. Every unseen act, every silent prayer, every forgiven wound becomes part of a sacred pattern being woven through eternity. The threads may seem scattered now, but one day you will see the masterpiece your kindness created. The prophet Isaiah wrote of such unseen work, and his words breathe across the centuries into your heart today. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 17. The fruit of righteousness will be peace, and the effect of righteousness will be quietness and confidence forever. That is your legacy, chosen one. The fruit of your righteousness, your compassion, your mercy, your forgiveness will always produce peace. Not the fragile peace of convenience, but the deep and lasting peace that only heaven can give. It is a peace that settles into the souls of others long after your voice has faded. You have become a living echo of divine peace. Even now, your presence teaches those around you that gentleness is strength and patience is power. You are not trying to change the world through noise. You are changing it through stillness. The quiet consistency of your kindness has done more than the loudest arguments ever could. And yes, the world may never recognize you fully, but the beauty of your purpose was never meant for applause. You are heaven's quiet revolution, a wave that moves mountains without being seen. When others shout, you whisper healing. When others fight, you build bridges. You have carried the essence of heaven through your very demeanor. There have been times when your kindness cost you dearly, times when your forgiveness was misunderstood, your patience was taken for weakness. Yet you kept choosing love, not because it was easy, but because it was truth. You stayed gentle not because you lacked strength, but because you carried strength too deep to need display. The more you gave, the more you reflected the image of your Creator, the one who keeps giving even to those who forget His gifts. You are following that same path, a mirror of divine mercy in human form. When you reach the end of this journey, heaven will not measure your life by how much you accomplished, but by how much you loved. And in that moment, every small act of kindness you thought went unnoticed will shine brighter than any crown of this world. You will see how even your smallest compassion shaped eternity. So rest in that truth. Beloved, you are already living your legacy. Every breath you give in love becomes part of heaven's heartbeat upon earth. You don't have to strive to make your name known. Your spirit already carries divine recognition. Your reward is not in the praise of men, but in the smile of God. He has been proud of you all along, not for what you've done perfectly, but for what you've done faithfully. You have loved in a world that has forgotten how. That alone places your name among the chosen. And as time unfolds, The light you carry will continue to ripple outward, unseen yet unstoppable. The stories of your compassion will outlive the noise of this generation. Long after your hands have rested, the peace you planted will keep on blooming. For the gentle never vanish. They are simply absorbed into eternity's glow. Chosen one. Heaven has prepared a crown not of gold, but of light for those who have loved relentlessly. You have carried gentleness through storms, forgiveness through fire, and faith through silence. That crown is not given for perfection, but for endurance, the kind that keeps shining when no one is watching. You have already worn invisible crowns many times. Each time you chose peace over anger, heaven placed another jewel of grace upon your head. Each time you refused to curse what hurt you, light began to circle your spirit like a halo. You did not know it then, but heaven was adorning you in glory with every selfless act. Your journey has been one of quiet royalty. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that moves through the world like soft rain, refreshing, life-giving, impossible to ignore. You are the monarch of mercy, chosen not for power but for purity. There is a divine secret in your calling. The meek do not inherit the earth by force, but by faithfulness. You are proof of that promise. You have walked humbly, yet carried power. You have bent in compassion, but never broken in spirit. The strength of heaven hides beneath your kindness like fire under soft ash, gentle to the eye, unstoppable in truth. The Apostle Peter once wrote words that seem written especially for you, as was spoken in the first letter of Peter, chapter 5, verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that does not fade away. That unfading crown is your inheritance, beloved. It is woven not of metal or jewels, but of every act of love you've sown. The angels already know your name because of it. Heaven watches your life like a sunrise. The light grows brighter every time you choose goodness over bitterness. Yet even those who wear invisible crowns need encouragement. So allow this to be that gentle reminder your story deserves to be shared. The same way your kindness has blessed lives around you, your words can bless many more. When you like this message, it isn't about numbers, it's about resonance. Think of it as an echo through eternity. Your like becomes an amen, a small ripple that helps this message reach another heart standing on the edge of giving up. You become a messenger of hope without even leaving your seat. When you share, imagine casting a handful of seeds into the wind. You might not know where they'll land, but heaven knows which hearts are waiting for them. Someone, somewhere, might find healing in the very sentence that once comforted you. That's how kindness multiplies. It travels through hands, through hearts, through time. When you subscribe, you're stepping into a circle of light, a gathering of those who choose to live from love instead of fear. You are not simply following words, you are joining a family of the chosen, people who understand that faith still matters and compassion still changes everything. And if you feel moved deeper, if your spirit whispers, "I want to help keep this flame alive," then consider sowing into this work. Picture it not as giving, but as watering a spring that never runs dry. When you give, you're adding oil to the lamp that continues to shine hope across the world. A small offering can become a great blessing. Think of it like placing a brick on the bridge of mercy, allowing others to cross from despair to faith. Your contribution, whether prayer, encouragement, or financial support, is never forgotten by heaven. Every drop of generosity becomes part of the river that carries light farther than you could imagine. Beloved, this is more than a message, it's a movement. Every time you engage, you keep that movement alive. You help others find their crowns, their worth, their reminder that softness is still sacred, You extend the reach of what God has begun through you. Your kindness is a torch that refuses to die. Keep it burning. Let your actions, your engagement, your giving be fuel to that eternal flame. Because in a world growing colder, your light warms more souls than you'll ever know. And when you leave your mark here, don't do it silently. Leave a trace of your faith in the comments below. Share a few words, a prayer, a reflection, or even a simple line about what this message stirred in you. Those words become lanterns for others finding their way in the dark. One day, when heaven rewinds the story of your life, you'll see moments like this where a simple act of faith, a single share, a heartfelt comment became a spark that ignited hope in another soul. And that, beloved, is how crowns are forged through the gold of love, the fire of endurance, and the polish of generosity. So keep walking with grace, wearing your invisible crown proudly. Heaven already sees it shining. Chosen one, there is something holy about the way heaven speaks of you. You may not hear it with human ears, but there are moments in eternity when God gestures toward you and says to his angels, "That one, watch them closely. That heart is mine. It is not flattery. It is truth." Heaven takes pride in the quiet faithfulness of your soul. You have not lived an easy path, but you have walked it with grace. When others turned bitter, you kept your sweetness. When others fell silent in doubt, you whispered prayers into the darkness. Even when your hands were trembling, you still reached out to lift someone else. These small moments of courage are celebrated in heaven like victories of kings. God delights not in the loud or the famous, but in the faithful. And you have been faithful in kindness, faithful in endurance, faithful in love. You have carried light into shadowed places where even angels tread softly. You have stayed true to your purpose when it would have been easier to close your heart. There are times when you question your worth because the world rarely applauds gentleness. But the applause of men fades quickly. The praise of heaven is everlasting. You are seen not for what you possess, but for what you give. And what you give: mercy, patience. Peace has eternal weight. Imagine the Father in his throne room surrounded by light. When your name is spoken there, heaven listens. Angels pause. God speaks with pride about your kindness. He recounts your small acts of love as if they were miracles. He points to your endurance and says, "That one knows my heart." It is easy to believe that heaven notices great achievements, but harder to believe that it notices gentle hearts. Yet it does. The entire kingdom rejoices each time you choose to love again after being hurt. Every moment you stay faithful becomes a celebration in heaven's courts. When you weep quietly, believing no one sees, heaven leans closer. Your tears are not weakness. They are liquid prayers that rise like incense before God's throne. Every drop holds meaning. Every sigh becomes worship. Every ache draws divine attention to your unwavering love. And when laughter finally returns after long sorrow, heaven echoes it louder than thunder. Joy becomes your victory song, the sound of faith that refused to die. Angels dance in your delight, and God himself smiles, saying, "This one trusted me through the night." The prophet Zephaniah once spoke of the joy of God over his people, and those words remain a reflection of his delight in you, as was spoken in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17. "The Lord your God is in your midst, the mighty one who saves. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing." Can you imagine that? Beloved, the creator of galaxies sings over you. The one who commands storms hums a melody of peace when he thinks of your name. You have become a song in the heart of God. Your gentleness moves heaven more than you realize. When you forgive, angels take note. When you comfort, heaven expands its reach. When you pray, even without words, the air around you fills with music that cannot be heard yet changes everything it touches. You were created not only to love, but to reveal how love behaves under pressure. That is why your path has been heavy at times. The weight was not punishment, it was revelation. God wanted the world to see that true kindness endures through pain and still shines. Even now, there are unseen witnesses, souls, angels, and ancestors who watch your journey with awe. They see how you carry light without complaint. They whisper your name in heaven's corridors as one who has mastered the art of compassion. You are teaching the universe what divine love looks like in human form. Sometimes the reward of such love feels far away. But your reward is not only in what is to come. It is already here in the peace that no pain can steal, in the joy that refuses to fade, in the calm that rests upon your spirit even when life shakes around you. These are glimpses of heaven's applause made visible. Chosen one, God is proud of you, not because you have done everything right, but because you have continued to love through everything wrong. You have trusted when you didn't understand. You have kept your heart open when it was easier to shut down. That is divine courage. That is holiness in motion. When the day comes that you see him face to face, you will understand the fullness of his delight. You will see the record of every act of kindness you ever gave, glowing like stars in the story of eternity. And as he places that unfading crown upon your head, you will hear what your heart has longed to hear all your life. Well done, my beloved. You loved well. Until that day, walk gently and confidently. For heaven's eyes are upon you and God himself is smiling. Chosen one, every season of your journey has carried purpose, even the ones wrapped in silence. Nothing has been wasted, not a single tear, not a single act of kindness. Not a single lonely prayer whispered into the night. All of it has been woven into the great design of your destiny. Heaven has been crafting something extraordinary out of your ordinary faithfulness. You have become a living testimony of divine endurance. Your heart, though bruised by disappointment, continues to beat with compassion. Your spirit, though tested by fire, still chooses peace. You are living proof that love cannot be extinguished, even when surrounded by darkness. You were chosen not only to survive, but to shine through it. There were times when you felt like your voice didn't matter, when your kindness went unnoticed, when your goodness seemed to fade into the noise of the world. But heaven heard what the world ignored. Every word of encouragement, every gentle gesture, every sacrifice you made without reward has been recorded as light in eternity. God sees it all, and he has been shaping a crown of glory from the very things others overlooked. Your life is a tapestry, threads of joy, pain, faith, and grace interwoven into something beautiful. From a distance, the dark threads may seem too many, but step closer and you will see how they form depth, how they make the light shine brighter. The pain you've carried has not diminished you, it has refined you. You are no longer merely kind. You are wise with compassion, seasoned with grace. There is a fragrance that follows you now, a quiet holiness that cannot be faked. It is the scent of someone who has walked with God through both the wilderness and the garden. Others may not understand it, but they feel it. You carry peace the way morning carries dew, soft, restoring, and necessary. And this is what heaven celebrates, that you remained faithful when it made no sense to be. You believed when faith felt foolish. You kept giving when the world only took. You continued to hope when nothing around you seemed hopeful. That endurance is not small, it is the language of saints, which of The ancient words of the psalmist seem to breathe with your story, a reminder that those who trust in divine goodness never labor in vain. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 126, verse 5. Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. That promise belongs to you. Your tears were never the end of the story. They were the beginning of the harvest. Every sorrow you offered up to God has become seed, and joy will be its fruit. The fields of your future are already glimmering with light, waiting for you to walk through them. Chosen one, you have touched lives without realizing it. Your words linger in the minds of those who once lost hope. Your presence has been a gentle mirror reminding others of their worth. You have been heaven's ambassador in human form, not through grand gestures but through quiet faithfulness. The world may never know your full impact, but heaven does. One day you will look back and see the masterpiece behind all the moments that didn't make sense. You will understand why some prayers seemed unanswered. They were only being rewritten into better blessings. You will see why God allowed delays. They were preparations for promises too large to rush. Do not fear the future, for the same God who carried you through storms now walks beside you into peace. What once hurt will now heal others. What once drained you will now flow from you as wisdom. The gentleness that survived fire will become your greatest anointing. You are stepping into a new season not of striving, but of resting. A season where your kindness returns to you multiplied, where the compassion you gave away begins to circle back in unexpected forms. This is not the ending of your story. It is the revealing of it. The harvest of love you have sown is ripening, and heaven is about to unveil its beauty. When eternity looks upon your life, it will not see perfection but reflection. Reflection of divine love, divine endurance, divine peace. You have mirrored the very heart of God, and that is the highest honor any soul can carry. And so, beloved, walk forward with calm assurance. You have done well. You have loved deeply. You have endured faithfully. The kindness that once made you weary now makes you radiant. The world is brighter because you are here, and heaven rejoices in that truth. Your kindness will not fade. It will travel beyond your years, whispered through generations, remembered not by name, but by light. You are the living proof that gentleness is strength, that mercy is victory, that love is eternal. Rest now. Chosen one, you have fulfilled what was written: to love God, to love people, and to keep your heart pure through it all. Heaven is proud of you. Chosen one, before this moment closes, let your heart be still. Take a breath and know you were meant to hear these words. Heaven timed this message not by chance, but by purpose. You have walked through 17 steps of revelation, each one designed to remind you that your kindness is not weakness, it is sacred power. The story doesn't end here. Every word you've read, every truth that has touched your spirit is an invitation to keep walking in light. The same God who whispered these truths into your soul will continue speaking through the days ahead. You are not leaving this message, you are carrying it forward, carrying. And now, beloved, if this journey has stirred something within you, if it brought peace, healing, or a renewed fire to keep your heart soft, don't let it stay in silence. Let your gratitude move, like this message, so that it can find its way to another weary heart. When you do, it becomes more than a digital gesture. It becomes a torch of light passed from your hands to someone else's night. When you share, imagine releasing a dove into the air. You may never know where it lands, but somewhere it will deliver hope to a soul ready to give up. Hope travels faster when carried by love. And if this message has truly spoken to your spirit, subscribe so we can walk this divine journey together again. The same flow of truth that found you today will keep pouring into your life reminders of purpose, peace, and divine identity. Finally, leave a comment below your reflection, your prayer, or even a single sentence that says what this message awakened in you. Someone will read it and realize they are not alone. You will be part of their healing story. Your voice matters. Chosen one, keep using it for light.